Hey everyone, speaking hobby. Been a while since I put out some videos, but I wanted to do this live stream, just kind of get, give an overview of openHAB 3 and kind of my experience with migrating from a pretty established and well working openHAB 2 setup to this new configuration. Just give you a first look, and we'll see what we get to today. I just I think live streams are going to be um, much easier for me to kind of go with the flow and see what you guys want me to cover in these videos or in this channel. So from this point on, I think we'll shift to that kind of format. And especially with openHAB 3, I think there's a lot of cool new features that I want to go over. So um, yeah, so we'll give people some time to get on, and you guys let me know in chat. I'll be watching chat as I go through the different aspects of openHAB 3, and if you have questions, we'll kind of try to answer whatever we can together. So openHAB 3 just recently came out. It's the official version just was just released over Christmas. So it's pretty new to everyone, including myself. So I am still learning all the ins and outs and the bells and whistles, and I'm very excited with it. I like it a lot. I mean, it seems to be a lot more, a lot better geared towards new users. For one, it's very graphic based, but it also kept all the great features of openHAB 2, where for users like myself who keep most of my configuration in files, I could easily move that over and get started with the new configuration here. So all right, I guess we got some people in chat, so let's get started. I think Lo-Fi Joe, if you were wondering if you should update from 2.511 to version 3, I will tell you, I went ahead and did it, and I'm happy with it. I mean, it's been working great for the past few weeks for me. openHAB 3 is pretty much ready for prime time as far as I'm concerned. And it's an official version, and the migration path is really um, not that hard once you get an understanding of this user interface and why it's designed the way it is. I think it makes it a lot better. Cool. So just to get started, right? So when you first install openHAB 3, you're going to get into this main user interface, and yours will probably not look like this yet, and I'll explain why. You're going to see a lot fewer things on your screen to start with. However, you know, one thing you can start getting familiar with is the interface here, and it's basically what you can think of this is the main user interface. Where you can think of this is it replaces the paper UI. openHAB 2 had the paper UI, which was really a great idea. It was introduced in openHAB 2, and it pulled together all the configuration, or most of the configuration of openHAB 2. But at the time, it was just another interface, just another user interface on top of the classic UI, the basic UI, and HAB panel, HABmin, and all those other user interfaces that openHAB created, openHAB developers created. So with openHAB 3, and the other problem with openHAB 2 and the paper UI is it was kind of left undeveloped. So it didn't get all the way to full functionality, and it just the developers just stopped working on it. I think I mean, I don't know the history of it. I don't know the what actually happened, but I think a lot of the developers that were working on it just the experienced developers are no longer with the project. So yeah. So with openHAB 3, that paper UI was kind of dropped, right? It was removed, and with it went a lot of the other additional interfaces like the classic UI and Habman. All of that functionality has been pulled into this awesome, I think, user interface. So again, you have an interface that does not only the configuration and the setup of openHAB, all graphical, all, you can do everything you want pretty much with these menus, but it's also a usable interface, right? So it's the UI, it's the user interface from this point on. Basically, that's what you should consider it. So you can do things like set up your control pages and all your control items from this user interface. Use it from your phone, your tablet, your PC, or whatever you use for controlling it. And that said, the developers did keep some of the other user interfaces that, if you put in a lot of work into building sitemaps in openHAB 2, the basic UI still exists, right? And it's still there. So you can always go back and use that one for, if you just prefer to use the basic UI, you can also use HAB-panel. And I guess this one is not, I didn't have this configured yet, so all right, well, so basically that's, HAB-panel is still there basically. Let's remove that. So yeah, so that's basically the overview. That's where openHAB 3 starts with the main user interface. All your settings, the things that you were used to with openHAB 2, like things or paper UI, these are your things, right? So you click on the inbox and it'll show you any things that are automatically detected by your bindings. Items, same type of setup. You have your paper UI type of scrollable menu here. The dialogues and the menus have changed a little bit, but you can get used to it pretty quickly. And in fact, I think it's even better because you can actually you can do control of these items directly from here, so you can test any settings or any configurations you do, like changing the temperature format, the number format, or something like that. It will show up right here in this action block. One cool thing too is the analyze thing. So if you click on analyze, it'll show you, well, if you have persistence enabled for that particular item. Let's see, let's go to a temperature. Well, all right, how about this? Should we? No, it's not. This item is not yet converted. Oh, here we go. Right, so temperature, right? So you have, so my basement temperature, it's a little chilly, but one cool thing is you can already see it charts the previous temperature here in this item. If you click on analyze, it will show you a chart basically, as long as you have a persistence enabled for that item. So yeah, so everything here is, the user interface is much more usable, right? It's a lot better designed from what I've seen. Rules. So one of the questions in chat I see is whether my rules were imported, and yes, and basically all of my file-based DSL rules are here in this tab. And it's cool because it takes the file and it brings the rule over, and every rule in the file gets its own kind of configuration item here. So right, so if I have my let's see, my midnight functions, right? Rule is idle, but it breaks apart that rule DSL, so it finds the rule, assigns it an ID, populates the name, and it also populates all the triggers, right? So this rule triggers at midnight based on the cron timer, and then executes the given script. If you click on the edit module, because it's a file-based rule, actually that's not working right now. Should be showing me. Oh, I'm sorry. The rule is not editable because it hasn't been provisioned from a file. So, but if I click on the code portion here, that's what I meant to do. See, this is what I mean when I'm still not fully comfortable with using this interface myself. I'm still learning it, but that's just because the system has been out for only a few weeks so far. And so the rule itself, the script that's stored in the file, gets populated in this code block here in the rule configuration item. So everything is really, I think, the one great thing about this is everything is really well tied together between the file interfaces that openHAB 2 and openHAB 1 users, the people that started with files like myself, can bring their files over, and it just brings into this great new interface. If you're starting out, you can design your own rules and design your system right from scratch using this user interface, if you prefer, or you can still work from files. And I mean, I see myself continuing to work from files as much as I can because I have, I just have a lot of work put into this already, and I think the number of items I have and the workflow I have, file-based configuration just works better for me. One of the cool things about file-based configurations, I can use GitHub to store it, and I do use GitHub. If I make a change here in VS Code, it'll automatically show me like what the changes are from the previous version. And I use this because I also use this because I share my configuration with with you guys, with anybody that has access to my GitHub has access to my configuration, or to a copy of my configuration, so you can kind of get an idea of how to design your system if you want. So that's why I prefer files. You may not, and it basically is up to you. openHAB 3 makes it very easy to go one way or the other. So let's see. So got some questions in chat already. Can you toggle rules in this? Yes, you can absolutely. You can click on the rule and hit that play button, the run now button, and it will actually execute the script, even though the trigger may not be established for that rule yet. And hi Kenneth, welcome to the channel, welcome to live stream. Hey BK, just wondering, do you have any Bluetooth sensors in openHAB? Not right now. I haven't really had any need for Bluetooth sensors. I mean, majority of my sensors are temperature or humidity based on my cube design, so I don't have one to show you here, but that's basically the type of sensors that I use for right now. Dustin, did I understand that right? Rules move into the web interface. So yeah, I'll go over that in a second. Basically, what the migration path was for me. But yes, everything. So it's you can do it one of two ways. You can move. Well, you can pre-populate it basically from your files, right? As long as your configuration files are in the directory, in the rules directory in your openHAB configuration folder, they'll be automatically populated into this web interface. However, if you click on it, you can actually see this little padlock icon here. So if you click on the rule that's been provisioned from a file, that's been brought over from a file, it'll tell you right there, the rule is not editable because it has been provisioned from a file. So essentially what happens is you still have that configuration file. That's the master, that's the source of that rule, right? Or the item or the thing. Everything that has been provisioned from a file will be brought into this interface. You can look at it. You can actually make some modifications to things, which I'll show you, that has relation to the semantic model. But for the most part, everything is still stored in the file. All the configuration of that rule is still stored in the file. Yeah, so right, Dustin. Everything can still stay in the config file, text files, items, things. So yeah, so I mean, if you look at my VS Code here, my configuration directory, all the items, all the rules, all my persistence files, everything, I still keep everything in files. I know other users have made the transition over to a full web-based UI. For now, I don't see a need for that for me right now. Do you have to whitelist scripts in whitelist like in openHAB? You're talking about the executable whitelist. Yes, you do. You still have to whitelist them. I think I think that the executable whitelist file has been removed. There are some security settings in openHAB 3 that changed between openHAB 2, so we can we can research that. But for now, I'm not gonna have a good answer to that question, I don't think. Match. I mean, this will be absolutely. I'll keep this video up. I'll keep this live stream as a video. I'll try to put some tags in the description as well, so you can skip to the sections you want to look at. Cool. So let's see. So I kind of went over, this web interface, the configuration web interface, developer tools, something that we'll look at in the future. I'm kind of still learning that myself, but there's definitely a lot of cool things to do from the developer toolbar. And then your helping about gives you your version. I'm actually running the latest snapshot, or one of the latest snapshots. There was a couple things in 3.0 version that for me personally, some of the rules were not working correctly, so I had to update to the latest. And okay, so let's talk about the migration now. So from installing the system on your device to bringing your configuration from openHAB 2 or 2.5 over to openHAB 3. So again, as I said, my migration path was to bring the files over, right? So as soon as I started bringing my things files, my items files, my rules, everything got populated into the openHAB 3 main UI. Because of the number of different items and things that I have in my system, I needed to do that kind of step by step to make sure that I didn't break anything, just by moving things over wholesale. So I started out like this. I basically went to the add-ons configuration on the new system, on the openHAB 3 device. And when I say old system, new system, so my openHAB 2 was running on an RPI 3 Plus. For the openHAB 3 system, I actually upgraded to an Odroid. So I'm running this on an Odroid C4. It's just a lot faster, and with the number of items I had, I was definitely maxing out the RPI 3 RAM, the memory. So yeah, so basically we went from an RPI to an Android C4, installed openHAB 3 on the C4, and went to this add-ons config file and brought over all of my binding configuration. So basically, all the bindings I used on openHAB 2, I copied them over into the openHAB 3 configuration file, and one by one, those bindings and things started popping up if they were automatically if they're automatically discoverable. Same with the persistent files, same with the transformation. So that, the openHAB cloud. So I just to start out with, I installed all the bindings first, and then one by one started copying the other folders in. So if you follow the model of openHAB 2, where the bindings discover things, the things have channels that are linked to items, and then the items and their states are used in persistence or rules, and or UIs, the sitemaps. So I went through that model. I went down that path. So first I copied over the things files from openHAB 2 to openHAB 3, made sure that all the things populated correctly, and if they didn't, I fixed whatever configuration I had to fix. Then I copied over the items files, the rules, the sitemaps, and so on. So it was pretty painless, actually. I don't think I had any major issues copying over my files or getting them to show up. And obviously, I mean, the thing I did was, let's see. As I was doing this, I was looking at my log viewer, front tail, and making sure that I don't see any errors pop up. So, is there backup or restore command? There is. So yeah. So again, just different methods, right? I mean, the beauty and kind of the pain of openHAB is that there's always been so many different ways to do things, right? So it offers so many methods to bring configuration over or set up new configuration, that it kind of that's part of the confusion of a new user. It's like, what's the right thing to do? What's the right way to go about doing this? And I don't think there is a right way. There's basically, this is my way, right? I know a lot of people use backup and restore with openHAB, and you can absolutely do that. And if you do that, you will no longer be using the file-based configuration. So because I use the file-based configuration, I use all my things in the items files. I wanted to keep that in basically the way I wanted to migrate was bringing over the files. Okay. So once I had all these things set up, I had things show up in this menu or in this window. I had my items show up here. Well, how do you control them, right? I mean, you can obviously go in and click on one item at a time, but that's not really a usable interface, right? And so the thing that you kind of absolutely have to learn about openHAB 3, and the thing that the kind of the biggest deal about openHAB 3 is the semantic model. So the semantic model is something that sets up your configuration, your house, your automation system into, you basically set it up into a model that openHAB 3 can understand and basically auto-populate the user interfaces for you. So that's the biggest thing about the configuration model, the semantic model. And there's two resources I'll give you right here. There's one is the actual semantic model documentation on openHAB, and if you read through this, it kind of reads like a tech manual, right? You kind of go, okay, I don't really know I kind of get what this means to me. I mean, obviously the model is built on locations, equipment, points. I mean, that's you start getting what that really means. But how does this apply to me? And there's a couple good forum posts as well. I'll copy the links over for, and they kind of this post is very good because it shows you how to set up the semantic model via tags in the configuration file, and that was something that I was looking for. So I ended up reading this this forum post, and things started clicking as I was doing the configurations setup myself. So yeah, going back to the model itself. So what is a semantic model, right? So semantic model is literally the configuration of your house, right? So for me, I'm sorry. So let me back up. The model is how you want to represent the items and things and equipment in your house, right? So for me, my semantic model is based on locations in the house, right? So all of my switches, my lights, my sensors belong to some room or some piece of equipment. So for those items that are specific to a room, like my 3D model, my 3D printers are pieces of equipment that live in the basement. My audio controllers, there's one per certain zone, right? One per certain room, and those also exist in that location, right? So the basement audio control is a piece of equipment that belongs to the basement. Within the equipment group, you have these points, right? So the point is the control, like for example, the power button, the volume slider, mute, the source, or bass and treble configuration. And those points are all part of the equipment or the audio control equipment. And you can also have measurements. So like the temperature in the basement, the humidity in the basement, power usage. So those are other measurement type of points that belong to the basement location. Can I zoom in? That's a good question. I don't know if yeah, my OBS isn't set up very well for this, I guess. If I try to do that, I might. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, actually, I guess I can zoom in from here. I'm not sure how this is gonna look on the stream, but let's give it a shot. You guys let me know if this looks okay or not. So again, basically, and you know what? Let me see. Yep. Okay. So if if I click on, or if I set up my model based on location, I can, that makes things easier for me, and I'll tell you why. Because if you start out with openHAB 2, if you're coming over from openHAB 2, you probably have a lot of your items set up in groups, right? So you probably have this configuration. This is kind of the demo configuration from openHAB 1 days, even from back from openHAB 1 point something, whenever I started, and I took the demo configuration and I made it my own, right? I changed the room names and changed these groups to make them match my setup. And because of that, I think a lot of people went this way. A lot of people have these groups already set up, and the cool thing about that is groups can become locations, groups can become equipment in your model pretty easily. It's pretty much a one-to-one transition. So a a basement group, which is the room, becomes a location in the model, right? So this is the tag, just to show you, this is the tag-based semantic model configuration. So it's a location, it's a basement. Outdoor is an outdoor location. Kitchen has its own tag, right? All these tags, all these location tags, if you go into the semantic model relationship, the ontology graph here, you can see exactly what the tags exist. You have to use one of these tags. These are the tags that exist currently in the configuration, and so one of these tags has to correspond to your model, your group, right? Your location group. So these are locations: indoor, building, garage, basement, bathroom, kitchen, bedroom. These are the point tags. So like measurement, set point, control, switch. Those are the ones that you're going to use most of the time. The equipment tags, so you have some specific equipment tags like HVAC. I use that for my thermostat. Power outlet, I use that for, let me show you. I use that for these things, right? The Sonoff S31s converted to Tasmota. And then, the property group here, those are your measurement points. So current, energy, humidity, temperature, light, voltage, like those are your measurement points within the location or within an equipment group. So once you kind of start getting the idea of that, groups aren't gone per se. Like you can absolutely use groups for configuration on the item configuration and rules and everything else that like if you want to fire a rule on a member of trigger, that like all that stuff still exists, and all that stuff is still uses groups. However, for the transition to the semantic model, groups are an excellent way to get the location or get a piece of equipment into that model, right? So let me show you something with like the monoprice items, right? So my monoprice audio controller is something that allows me per zone, per room to control the power. So I have these switch points, the volume. So I have a sound volume property on tag on this item, and all these points get grouped into. So for example, this FF Kitchen Audio is a group that brings together all the points within the Kitchen Audio controller group, and that is tagged as a piece of equipment called a speaker. So again, the groups help you group together like the items just like they did before, but now those groups can be tagged with the semantic model tag, the one that you pick from the list here, right? Yeah. So now, why does it matter? Why do you need to go through this and configure the semantic model the way I'm showing you? Well, it matters because with openHAB 3, let's zoom out a little bit now. Okay. Once you have this model set up, you have the basement equipment group, the basement location with the equipment inside the basement, the first floor, dining room, family room, kitchen. Well, awesome thing about openHAB 3 is it literally builds the user interface for you, right? So now if you click on this main page, you have these tabbed pages below it. Guess what? All of these sub pages, I didn't have to do anything to get them built and get them looking this way. It basically built itself, right? So the really cool one is this location tab. So if I have all my groups based on locations, it will show me, hey, this is the master bedroom, that's the temperature, humidity, and there's lights are on in that group or in that location. Let's see, the basement, you have your temperature and your humidity. So all those things that were built into the model get automatically just shown up here in this page. For the equipment tab, look at this. I can look at all my lights in the house, and it, as long anything that's been tagged with a light property or control light property will show up in this dialog box here. If I click on sensors, those are all my power sensors. If I click on HVAC, that's the equipment group for my thermostat. That shows up right here in one page. So very, very snazzy, right? If you click on the properties tab, those are all the property points that we were looking at. Again, energy, humidity, light, power, sound volume, right? So those are all the sound volumes, just the volume tags from the model pertaining to the audio controllers. Temperatures, awesome too. And you can click on each one of these, and it'll actually show you the chart for it. That chart again is based on persistence and based on the model. You don't have to do anything to get this pretty looking interface right once you put the work in to get the model set up. Analyze all, it'll show me all the temperatures in the house at different points, like the day, the week, and I guess this hasn't been running. Well, it has been. So yeah. So that's where that's why the model is such a big deal of openHAB 3, and that's really to get you started quickly and get you going with the setup for the interface. Now the other thing that's new in openHAB 3 in this main user interface is pages, right? So kind of like where sitemaps used to belong, right? Sitemaps used to belong to the basic UI or the classic UI. HAB panel had its own type of user interface configuration. Well, again, all of it has been brought back to this main user interface. So the page setup, page configuration, something you can do from this administration from settings menu. You can create new pages. So I can create a chart, a floor plan. That's pretty cool. So you can basically show a floor plan of your house and put the different sensors, different lights, different switches on that floor plan. Map view, if you have like location criteria, like or geofencing set up on your phones, you can show that location here within this interface. Tab pages or layouts, or a sitemap. So again, you can create a sitemap right from within this menu, within this openHAB main user interface. So let's see, one of the things that I think Zamba was actually looking at or asking about is, okay, this is cool, the user interface is cool, but how do I actually control stuff, right? And again, once you set up the model, these switches, the dimmers, everything that you already have kind of already shows up and gets pulled into this automatically. So first floor, let's see, basement. I have my 3D printer in the back behind me. I can turn it on or off right from this control. But what if I wanted to set up my own, right? My own kind of interface. And I did that for HVAC. Again, I can go back right through the model, look at the equipment group, click on HVAC, and change my or look in this case. So that's not set up right. But I can change like the thermostat mode from here. But if I wanted to have just a page on the device, say for example a wall panel, a touchpad on the wall, that only shows the heating or the thermostat control, I could build a page, and that page will show, the device will be set to show this page, and I can make the layout for this page match what I want it to look like. So again, for this HVAC page, this is where I have the control set up. So I have a knob control for the different set points. I have a thermostat, the temperature itself shown here, and the different set points. If I want to change this page and add these or modify these widgets, which is what they're called, I'll click on edit, and I can do lots of cool things here. I can add widgets like a label cell or a slider cell if I wanted to, if I had light dimmers or anything like that. I can add different blocks, right? So I can do like, kind of very easily, I can do layouts, things kind of remind me of HAB panel or sitemaps, where you kind of do a little bit of that, where you can control pages or define different sections. But this is a lot more a lot easier, I think. So I can remove these for now because I'm not using that kind of layout management for now. The other cool thing is this masonry block, right? So if you add masonry, think of this as HAB panel, right? So you can add a lot more different inputs here. So I can add let's add a toggle card, right? And that toggle card is a switch. That's how you add a switch to the user interface, right? So if I configure this widget, let's give it a title, say Christmas lights. And you want to toggle an item, right? So in front of me, which I showed you on my desk, I have the Christmas light switch that I was using to control the Christmas tree up until a few days ago. So I'll look for the item that corresponds to that thing, which is the Christmas tree sewn off, right? And I'm done, right? So now if I go into save and run mode, I basically have this switch right on the page. So if, I'm going to show you this with the actual switch in the picture. So this is it right here. You can probably hear it clicking when I'm controlling that. So it's literally that easy, or that simple to add things to the user interface. You don't have to write the widget. You don't have to write the sitemaps anymore. You don't have to really create new configuration files for it. You can do everything from this user interface, and it's an actual user interface compared to what Paper UI. Paper UI was really you could definitely change item states from the control menu, but nobody actually used Paper UI, I don't think, for actual runnable systems. And in this case, you build this page, you can do really cool things to to run run whatever you want from this interface, right? So we can add a color picker card. So if you had like a light bulb, a controllable light bulb, sliders for dimmers, image card, you could point in or pull in a camera image from one of your security cameras. So that's the kind of stuff that you can add directly from this page. So let's see, where are we at? Let's see if there's any questions. On the main page, why is it showing null for the rooms? So basically these labels here, correspond to a measurement or a measurement point, right? So, or you can define the default kind of label or default cell, that default card that gets populated with these. I don't have anything defined right now, right? So I mean, an attic group or a basement group in my configuration is, let's see, let's go back to home items. It's a holder group, right? It doesn't have any links. It's not linked to any item state. It's not linked to any state. So really the group itself is null, right? That's why as far as the location configuration here, it just shows a null. And I could probably modify that fairly easily to not show that. Yeah, I don't think I necessarily have gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten that far to modify it or for it to bother me. I mean, yeah, obviously I'll want it to show either a blank space here or nothing. I don't really use this particular page too much so far. I definitely I've been using this locations tab because this builds from the model, and the properties of those pages are populated from the model points, from the measurement points. So rather than having a null, I'm seeing temperatures and whether the lights are on or how many lights are on in that particular space of the house. Are the pages going in the top left near the HVAC? I'm not sure if I understand that question. Okay. So yeah. So are the pages going here in the sidebar? Yes, that's correct. So if you click on the page configuration item, every page that you have here has sidebar visibility, and this one doesn't actually have it because it's a default page. Let me see, HVAC. Yeah, if you click on this HVAC page, you can not show it in the sidebar if you don't want it to show up, right? So you can build all kinds of different pages that never actually show in the main sidebar menu, but for example, you have that page visible on a device or locked into a device, right? So you can actually make these pages only visible to certain users. So it's not, so you can, for example, you could create a thermostat user, right? And that thermostat user would only see the HVAC page, and you could log in as the HVAC user. Like for example, right now I'm logged in as openHAB, but if I had an HVAC user, I could log in as HVAC just on that one display, on that one tablet that's sitting in the kitchen or wherever I have my thermostat controller, and all that user would be able to see is the HVAC page, right? So you can kind of, it's not a security device, but it's more of a tailoring device. You can tailor the layout of the sidebar to different users based on their role. So let's see. So I guess we have a couple of I think that's kind of an overview and really just a starting point. But do we have any other questions for now? I think this is kind of a good stopping point without overwhelming for the first video. So would you recommend to update? I mean, openHAB 3 is still pretty new and maybe unstable. I don't think it's unstable at all. I mean, I think I've run some diagnostics on even this build. This is a snapshot from a few days ago, and that's so it's pretty new. But the previous build I was running, the openHAB 3 stable build, it didn't work for me for other reasons, not stability, not like resource usage. It was just basically the fact that there was a couple new features that I wanted from the 3.1 snapshot build. But the openHAB 3 stable build is absolutely not, doesn't have any issues with running for days or weeks at a time so far, and not showing any issues, any problems. So I think even if you look at the forums, if you look at the community forums on openHAB, people are definitely starting to switch over. I think people are definitely excited about openHAB 3. That's kind of why I wanted to come out with this live stream, just kind of give new users an overview into it, or introduction into it from my point of view. But I think it's a huge upgrade. It's a major improvement to the openHAB system. Like you've gone from 5 or 6 different user interfaces to this one user interface that really works for everyone. I think, like I said, there's still the ability to run the previous interfaces, developer sidebars on. So yeah, so I can still run basic UI and HAB panel, but honestly, I haven't been using those at all. I run everything from this main user interface in openHAB 3 now, and that's so my production system in my house has been upgraded to openHAB 3, and it's not going back. Yep. All right, guys. Well, listen. It's been a while since I put out a video. I've had some I think I've I had a lot of other hobbies and a lot of other work related things going on, so I haven't had as much time to put out edited videos. But I think I like this. I definitely like this format where we can kind of get together and chat, and I can show you little bits and pieces of the system, or maybe we can focus on a different feature or a different kind of configuration item per week, or whenever live streams go on. So let's let's cut it off right there. Like I said, I'll post the resources that I showed you in this video in the description below. I'll also post a quick kind of time frame so you can jump back and forth to different sections of the video. And that's all. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time.